It's 7:03 on Thursday, December 11th. We're at 33 degrees, but it feels like 25. Highs around 40. Will also feel like the 20s later. Good morning, I'm John Aaron.
I'm Michelle Bash. Our top local story, more military flights would be allowed near Reagan National Airport under a multi-billion-dollar defense authorization bill just passed by the House. The head of the National Transportation Safety Board says that would make the airspace unsafe. WTOP's Mitchell Miller has more today on the Hill.
This is a significant safety setback.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy, who is infuriated by language in the legislation that would allow more military flights near the airport. They were ordered to be restricted after a deadly mid-air collision between an Army helicopter and a jetliner earlier this year that killed 67 people. Virginia Senator Mark Warner is also troubled by the provision, which is in the National Defense Authorization Act that passed overwhelmingly and now heads to the Senate. Overall, the bill is backed by members of both parties, providing a nearly 4% pay increase for military personnel. Virginia Republican Jen Kiggins says it will also provide an economic boost for the Commonwealth.
These investments deliver for our nation, and they deliver for Hampton Roads.
On Capitol Hill, Mitchell Miller, WTOP News.
A final goodbye for the West Virginia National Guard member who was shot to death last month in the nation's capital. WTOP's Sarah Jacobs reports.
West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey said in a statement that specialist Sarah Beckstrom's funeral took place Tuesday at the West Virginia National Cemetery in Grafton. Morrisey said Beckstrom was buried with full military honors in a deeply moving ceremony that reflected the strength, grace, and love of a remarkable young woman. Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf were ambushed as they patrolled a subway station near the White House the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Wolf's family says they expect him to remain in acute care in D.C. for another few weeks. Sarah Jacobs, WTOP News.
The Afghan national charged in the shooting has pleaded not guilty to murder.
A judge has ruled that Catherine Hoggle, the mother accused of killing her two youngest children, is now mentally competent to stand trial in Montgomery County. After being diagnosed unfit to stand trial for years, a psychiatrist chosen by prosecutors said although she is schizophrenic, she no longer is psychotic and is now rational. WTOP's Neil Augenstein has been following 2 days of court testimony.
The prosecution was allowed to bring in their own psychiatrist, and they also provided the psychiatrist with thousands of texts that Catherine Hoggle sent during the time that she was in custody. Text to her mother, text to her father. There were also phone calls that Catherine Hoggle made that were recorded at jail. In those calls and in those texts, the prosecution's goal was to show that Catherine Hoggle is perfectly normal and perfectly able to communicate with others when she's not talking with a psychiatrist. And that was what the judge found particularly convincing.
Hoggle has been ordered to remain at a psychiatric institution until her next hearing, set for December 23rd.
It can be a heavy lift to get qualified teachers into area classrooms, but WTOP's Kyle Cooper reports both Virginia and Maryland are making progress.
For the third year in a row, Virginia has decreased the number of teacher vacancies. Tierra Booker-Dwyer, Deputy Superintendent of Student Outcomes and School Quality in Virginia, says there's been a 35.9% decrease in teacher vacancies in Virginia since 2023.
That means that every student is starting that school year with a teacher in the classroom, and that makes all the difference.
Workplace satisfaction and better pay have contributed to the improved numbers. The teacher vacancy rate in Northern Virginia is low at just 1.2%. Teacher vacancy rates have dropped nearly 50% over the past year statewide in Maryland. Kyle Cooper, WTOP News.
How do you get a famous person's attention? Go viral. That's what seniors at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School did, with hopes of getting former First Lady Michelle Obama to speak at their graduation next June. The Student Government Association tagged her in videos every day until she responded. Noah, the SGA president, told NBC4 how the plan to get the former First Lady began.
We were in an SGA meeting one day, and we were talking about graduation speakers, and we didn't really know what the process was. And the first person that really came to mind was Mrs. Obama. I'd watched her documentary, Becoming, recently on Netflix, and, we grew up with her being a great speaker, her really emphasizing youth voices, and I just thought she'd be an amazing speaker, and we'd be honored to have her at BCC.
After 12 days of posts, the former First Lady commented on one of the videos. She said she was moved by the videos and that her team is in touch with the school and is working on something special.